Hello, everyone. It's Michael Jaco with Unleashing Intuition Secrets here in Anaheim, where we're having the LifeWave convention starting tomorrow. Uh, I believe very strongly that every time a LifeWave patch connects with someone's body, that person is much better served going forward. So I think that more and more people are finding that out, and we hope to get more people to get involved with LifeWave. Of course, being an event like this really gets you motivated because all the new technology that they normally reveal. Now, as far as like the weather, strong storms, earthquakes, and so forth, will be increasing. I've been talking about this for a little bit now, and they have been increasing, of course. I think they're going to really start to kick up going forward. Those of you that are intuitive will benefit. Those of you that are not, you're not watching me anyway, so you're going to, unfortunately, those people are going to find themselves in a good position. All right, because these storms and earthquakes and so forth, tsunamis, are going to devastate a very wide, broad range of people all over the world. So that's going to be very tragic. Now, I want you guys to understand that once these tragedies hit, they're beginning, all right? The beginning of much more coming. And so you can't get too involved. I know a lot of us will probably when these tragedies happen, and we're going to see millions of people, unfortunately, get taken out. But I mean, we've been dealing with a tragedy for the last 4 years where, everybody's been vaccinated with COVID. No one really seems to care about that. So will people care about the coming earthquakes and tsunamis and so forth? Yeah, initially, but it'll wear off real quick because there'll be more coming. All right, so let's look at some other things that are going on in the world. Looks like we may see a pretty significant hurricane down in the Caribbean over the coming days into the weekend. Probably going to be a Cat 5. Melissa. So Melissa, I would say probably maybe tonight or tomorrow she may turn into a hurricane and then upgrade very quickly, because where she is situated right now, just below Jamaica, or will be just below Jamaica here the next day or so, the water is extremely warm. We've not really seen any hurricanes this year in that area. So the deep, warm water, and of course the water at the surface, is extremely warm. And that's what feeds a hurricane. So this hurricane is going to somewhat, stall out. And then once it stalls out, it'll probably increase in speed because it's right there in the warm water. Jamaica could unfortunately get really, really hammered. There's some scenarios where this hurricane gets sucked out into the Atlantic, but looks like it's going to continue west next to Jamaica. And like I've said in the past, that there was going to be a hurricane that was going to go right up Florida. This is kind of looking like that's a possibility. It's just kind of a stretch at this point. But if it continues on the route that it's going, if it continues to pull west and stall a little bit, then eventually when it gets pulled to the north, it could be in a position where it's going to go over Cuba and into Florida. So we'll have to keep an eye on this. I'll share the screen. We'll give a little bit of info here, but these things, really haven't materialized this year. Something has been keeping them from prayer, or, direct your energy weapons, HARP, I don't know, on the good guy side, maybe pushing these things out. Or maybe it's just Mother Nature, right? Could be. There's always that possibility. But this is Mr. Weatherman. He does a really good job. Watch him. Let's listen to what he's got to say.
It could be a powerful hurricane very close to Jamaica. Now, Jamaica, there's a couple chances of this thing hitting Jamaica, right? I want to show you that in this video. But again, still that slight chance that this were to just zoom up toward Haiti. If that happens, that would increase, of course, the impacts for Haiti and the Dominican Republic, but that track a little bit more to the west is more likely. Here are the two big models. Now, there's...
All right, so here's the models like he's talking about. They were saying in the beginning it was definitely going to do this. It was going to go in between the islands, mainly hit Haiti. Now it's looking like it's going to move west, like we're talking about. And, still it's a possibility it could just like go out to sea. But still it's going to, whatever it does, however it moves, it's going to cause some pretty significant impacts. Now, if it goes along the Jamaica right here, they're going to get some serious Cat, 2 all over the island, maybe upwards of Cat 3. Of course, on the side where the hurricane is, they could get up to Cat 5. And they could get flooding of over a foot and waves of up to 20 feet. Wow. So that's kind of the prediction right now, but we'll see. Things still a couple of days away. And as we've seen this year, these things have had the tendency of getting sucked out and not really causing that much of a problem. But just to be heads up, this is one of those ones that could possibly be my prediction, where I see it just go straight up Florida and wreck Florida big time. All right. So that's what's going on right now for that. We'll keep an eye on it over the next several days. Hopefully it's not going to cause the damage that it could potentially. No one at this point is saying it's going to strike Florida, though. So it may not. All right. So no one thought that it would get this big either. So these things have a tendency of being very squirrely. All right. U.S. strikes 8th alleged drug boat, this time in the Pacific. All right. So the first Pacific drug boat to get hit from Colombia, I guess, or from Venezuela. So it must be coming from Colombia. So Venezuela's over here in the Caribbean. So Colombia, now other countries are being, drug boats are getting hit. So who knows? So 2 men survived a U.S. strike on a suspected drug trafficking submersible vessel. So it sounds like it was a little mini submarine or something in the Caribbean last week. And the U.S. repatriated the man, one from Ecuador, one from Ecuador and one from Colombia. Ecuador released the man, identified as, so let him go back to smuggling more drugs, I guess. Colombian citizen remains hospitalized after his repatriation. So I guess the U.S. is just blowing their boats up and just grabbing the guys and like give them back to their countries. That's kind of strange, but whatever. All right. So it was my great honor to destroy a very large drug carrying submarine that was navigating towards the United States. That was on X. So this next one, U.S. strikes 8th alleged drug boat. All right. So anyway, so we're going to keep blowing up boats out there. And so pow. That's right. So that's one of the things that we're going to continue to see until eventually Maduro is gone, I believe. All right. Apple on Monday hit all-time new record in the stock market. So it really zoomed up. It really pulled the entire stock market up. S&P, the Dow, NASDAQ, all hitting very, very high levels. The Apple was I think it's a $4 trillion company now. It surpassed Microsoft. So I think they go back and forth. One, passes over the other one, but Apple on Monday, I don't know what it is today because stock market was down today, but on Monday, it was a $4 trillion company. And that's because I guess this new Apple 17 phone has done really well. Now, Apple doesn't report for a little bit. I think it's on the 30th of next week. There's several companies that report on Wednesday, the 29th, and then Apple on the 30th. Now, I think these companies are going to continue to see profits. They're cutting costs by cutting their employees. This is normally, in the last stages of a bubble. you're going to start to see unemployment rise because the companies are basically getting rid of their employees because it costs a lot of money. But eventually it crushes the companies. They're going to end up not being profitable. But to stay profitable in the last several quarters before they go under, they're going to cut employees. The unemployment rate goes up like it's been going up. It's going to continue to go up because this is a sign of a collapsing economy. And then the stock market bubble pops eventually, probably, I would say, into next year, early part of next year is when it pops. But it could pop the end of the year. Now, we know that Warren Buffett, Berkshire Hathaway, sold a massive amount of its Apple shares. And, he's basically retiring at the end of this year. So I guess he wants to go out on a good note. And so he's basically gone to cash more than any time in history of Berkshire Hathaway. But like I said, of course, he's leaving the company, and who knows, maybe he just wants to go out on a good note, or he's going to leave the company with a lot of cash. So when the stock market does crash, which it will, then Berkshire, whoever takes over, is going to look really good because they're going to buy everything cheap. And then, I don't know, 30 years from now, it'll be worth a lot of money, because 30 years ago, if you'd invested $10,000 in Apple, today you'd be worth $6.9 million. Now, how many of us would hold a stock that long? Not me. Not me, baby. So, but maybe there's some people out there that did. Maybe, I don't know. I was going to say Steve Jobs, but he's passed away a long time ago. And well, who else? I don't know. So anyway, anybody out there I invested in Apple quite a few times over the years and made some nice profits, but my income has been up, and it's been like way down. So I would have had to have sold it several times over my life to make ends meet. But those people that can, do that, great for them. But there you go. If you'd, I don't even know inflation wise what that would turn out to be. Maybe it's not really 6.9 million. Maybe it's more, maybe it's less. I don't know. So there's ways to make money. And one of the greatest ways to make money is silver. Now, we know that silver is down quite a bit from its recent highs, but this is normal for a big run. Eventually, silver will continue to go back up. But let's look at what happened with Apple stock on Monday. Let's see what these gentlemen have to say over on CNBC.
Is the big winner today. Of course, Apple is playing a big role in that. A new record high. It is nearing $4 trillion in market cap. Take a look at that. $11 to the upside, almost 5%. It needs to finish the day above 259.02 for a record closing high. I don't know if this has been a stealth move or whatever you want to call it, but this stock seems to be back, as word is that the iPhone 17 is driving the strongest smartphone sales.
Yeah, it's called a bubble, but these guys aren't going to admit that or talk about that. All they're out there for is to basically pump people into buying more stocks so they get slaughtered in the end.
For Apple since the pandemic.
All right, come on, be a little bit more excited about it. You and I have been talking about this since the summer. And I think one of the things that's important to understand, in particular with the Mag 7, is where are people in terms of positioning, sentiment, and expectations? Yeah.
All right. So there you go. So, rah, go buy Apple stock while Berkshire Hathaway sells their shares. That sounds like, So one of the reasons why, the biggies sell early is so that people can't go, well, you knew it was going to go bad. You sold a year and a half ago. Yeah, so it doesn't fit, right? So he made a massive profit. If he'd kept his shares, he'd be up another $50 billion. Can you believe that? Another 50 billion. So yeah, I mean, what's a 50 billion to a guy that has, like, I don't know, close to $1 trillion worth? I don't know. It probably is not so much. So for me, you know, $100, $50, that's a lot. But for these guys, 50 billions, like whatever. So whatever. So silver, silver's getting knocked down, gold's getting knocked down, platinum's getting knocked down, the precious metals getting knocked down. But they did go on a crazy, crazy run, and it's not unusual for them to get a little rest, right? So I guess I'd like to see them go up forever, but if they do that, they've done that in the past, and they go skyrocketing up and they come skyrocketing back down. Now, a lot of people are really scared. They think that, oh no, this is like the last two times where there was, it went to $50. Now, remember that this time it's gone to an all-time high, way past $50. I think almost $54. So, and gold is just like staggering how far up it's gone, just over the last couple of months for both of them. So they needed a pullback. They've gotten a pullback. It remains to be seen if it's more than that. I doubt it, but who knows? I mean, I predicted a lot of stuff, and I predicted stuff that didn't come true, but this one has done exceptionally well. Of course, you know, anything can happen. You got to trust your own intuition. Like I said, those that trust their intuition will survive and thrive in the future. Those that have no clue what even intuition is, not so much, right? We'll see. How many of those people that got the COVID shot that are now dead trusted their intuition? None of them. All right. So this is what we're seeing with a lot of things going forward, guys. You're going to get a lot of like counter signals. And if you're not intuitive, you're going to like bail when you should be holding, or you're going to be holding when you should be bailing, or you're going to be staying when you should be fleeing, right? So all these things are coming into play. You'll see a lot of things that are going to blow your mind, right? And I'm very open-minded, but you know, it's crazy. Yeah, it would be nice to hit 1 million, 100,000. I'd probably have like millions at this point if YouTube hadn't taken me down. Now YouTube is starting to F with me again, so enjoy me while you can. You never know. All right. So of course I still have a Rumble channel, and I keep Rumble supplied with videos and so forth. So there's my Rumble numbers still are growing at a snail's pace like they have been for years. But yeah, here on YouTube, especially once you hit 100,000, usually you start to move pretty quick. So we'll see. But yeah, they're definitely playing some games with me again. So anyway, Magnificent 7 earnings cheat sheet. Tesla reported today. They had good numbers, but their stock is down. It's just a down day. I think it's just going to be a little bit of a downer, up and down, until we get the Fed that's going to meet starting Tuesday, and then they're going to make their probably a quarter point drop in the Fed funds rate is my prediction. Some people have said a half. I doubt they will do a half, because I think there's still a little bit of inflation that's out there, and probably having a little bit of impact. Now we'll get inflation numbers on Friday. Now, a lot of other stuff, because of the government shutdown, we have been getting a lot of reports that the market needs to make decisions of whether they goes up or down, whatever. All right, it's going to go up. It's going to go down, but it's definitely going to go up. So we'll see. But you know, you never know. It could, a hurricane could act, that hurricane that's down there in the Caribbean, it could just go up and slam into, because there was supposed to be a hurricane that was going to strike the World Trade Center, right? But it stayed out at sea. A lot of people don't know that. There was a Cat 3 that was cruising up the coast, and some people say they used that energy from that to, you know, power up those directed energy weapons. I don't know about that, but I think they've got other forms of energy. I don't think they need a little hurricane or a big one, whatever, to, like, you know, do some damage. But if it did go out into the Atlantic's starting to get pretty chilly. We're going to have like a massive cold winter this year. So I don't think it's going to do anything, but who knows? Maybe it'll just like float on top of the water and sting like a bee, kind of like Muhammad Ali, right? So, all right, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. So maybe it'll do that, guys. And then the stock market will collapse because the hurricane comes and slams it, and it'll burn while the hurricane's like raging outside the, because that's the way they're like do crazy stuff like that. It's like, look, LA just burned, but yeah, all those trees around those homes that didn't get touched. That's normal. That's normal. So okay. So I guess a lot of people believe that because Gavin Newsom and all those guys are like, Gavin's dancing. Oh, we're going to sell all those houses. And everybody's like, oh, look at Gavin. He's such a cute vampire boy. So he's still there. So Californians like, they hate me because I tell them the truth, because you guys don't go out and clean that shit up. And so all those people are still in power. And, that's why, I don't know, maybe God's going to like clean up California. So I don't know. So maybe all of you guys are into that. If, huge tsunamis come and like take over and just smash California. It's like, well, they were bad. God just cleaned it up. Right. So there you go. All right. Magnificent 7 cheat sheet on Wednesday. That's 29 October. Microsoft, Alphabet, Google, and Meta will report. Now, I say that they're going to be good, right? Whether they are or not, it's going to be good, right? So the Fed's going to go quarter point cut. These after hours will have like astounding, earnings. And then on Thursday, we'll probably see the stock market hit new records. It'll be like ridiculous. Who knows? I don't know. So I don't know. Buy the dips. Buy the dips. Buy the dips, and you'll see what happens. And maybe you'll make some money. Maybe you won't. And but if you buy the dip in silver and everything goes up, like the other day, like Monday was an everything up day. So silver and gold, God, just went crazy. Gold was like, God, it was up almost 100 and something, almost 150, $170. And it was like, wow, look at that. And then, 2 days later, or a day later, yesterday, it was down like 300. I was like, wow, that's like, it set a record going up and then it set a record going down. All right. The same thing with silver. It's been like, charging up. And then we have this crazy down day yesterday. Now, is that harbinger, like I said, of future pricing downturn? It could be. But whatever it is, should be buying it. All right. So, because silvers will absolutely go to the moon. So many people are fickle, and it's kind of like your fickle effers, right? F squared, fickle buck. Right. So if you're doing that, then so you have to say that fast. I don't want to offend anybody, but if you're doing that, if you're fickle, you're never going to make money. So you have to find that one thing that you trust and you believe in, you understand. I understand silver because I've been investing in silver since I was a little boy. When I was a little boy, so as all the way back when I was like 7, 8, I would like buy silver coins from my friends for more than the coin was worth. Sounds kind of stupid, but I knew that silver at one point, which I saved all that. And it's eventually, of course, I made a lot of money on silver and gold. I sold it at the last time it went up back in 2011, which was good because I needed it because CIA was destroying my life. So I needed that money. And so I was able to survive. And here I am thriving again until, I guess, I don't know, YouTube and CIA and everybody else comes and destroys my life again. Who knows? So kind of the way it works for me. So I tell everybody what's happening. I save everybody's lives, and then I get destroyed. So I don't know. Maybe this time will be different. All right. So Amazon will be one of the last to report on the next day. So Thursday. And then on Friday, is it Friday or the next? I don't know when Apple reports. I think it's Friday. It might be the same, but anyway, NVIDIA on 19 November, so it's way out there. NVIDIA is the one, probably next year sometime. NVIDIA is going to have an earnings disappointment, just like Cisco did when we had the .com blow up, when Cisco was like a NVIDIA of its time. So finally, after cutting, the employees, and because employees aren't there, they're not, creating new products and so forth. So the stock went down. Hello. Their earnings went down. So all of these companies are going to be like that. Now, a lot of people are like, well, AI is replacing everybody. No, AI is not replacing everybody yet. Maybe in the future. That's why AI is like, because everybody's like, .com is going to be the future. Well, it took a little time. It is the future, but it was way ahead of its time. And so all those companies that were getting all that money because everybody's like, you're going to be so profitable, give you all the money. And then they weren't because everybody's like, blown up before they were even out of the crib yet. Right. So, and then eventually they got old enough to crawl out of the crib, and then they started to work out, and they got big, got muscular, got fast. And like me when I was a little boy, and then I became like a running back and tailback and did really good. And I was like, I think I'd rather be a Navy SEAL because those guys are cooler. Right. So I went over and did that. So that's kind of what we're going to see with some of these AI products. Some of them will be, doing what we believe they're going to do. And then some of them, not so much. Now, I heard somebody say today that they should put the biblical texts. I forget what they said, but it sounded really cool. It's like they should put like the good biblical text into AI so that they would never go against human beings. I was like, that sounds pretty clever. Why not? Why not? Let's do that. Maybe it'll work, right? Maybe it'll work. And so anything's possible. Anything's possible. I think we just have to be very, very creative because that's what makes us incredible human beings. Of course, there's a lot of, aliens that are out in space, right? Some of them around our planet, some of them on our planet. They don't see us as quite incredible. Now, if you look at all of the deep state, basically, that is running our planet, child trafficking, drugs, people dying from drugs, adrenochrome use, all of that stuff. When you really, really look at, that, you're like, human race is kind of effed up. Why would an advanced species come in and help us? Well, I think because there's been many times here on Earth that we have accelerated to such a high extent. We have lots of text about that, Mahabharata and so forth, where there was alien beings that were coming down and atomic bombs being used all the way back then. I think that we have advanced our race several times here on Earth, and some of those advanced races that spawned off of us are out there trying to come back and help us. And if we do reach a certain critical level of consciousness, we could get some help from them. A lot of people call them gods. A lot of people call them angels. But what are they? So could there be a little combination of all that? Very possible. So in the future, in the near future, when we have the 3-eye atlas, which is coming around, maybe that's collecting information. Like I've seen when I remote viewed, there are advanced extraterrestrials that are on that craft. They're basically seeing and they're monitoring us to see how we advance. I think there's going to be more of these big rocks that come through that we think are big rocks, comets, whatever, and they're going to be monitoring us. It depends on we, the people of the world, whether we advance our consciousness, start to take down all of the demons that are running the show, like Newsom and Starmer and, all those people. So we just go around the world and go, you're bad. We're going to you got to go. All right. And if we were to do that, I think there is a chance for humanity, even with all of the advanced earthquakes that are coming. Advanced, when I say advanced, I mean they're going to be enough to shake the world, right? Very, very high intensity, very high powered. Same thing with volcanoes and so forth. So let's look at some of that. All right. We need to be aware. And if we're aware, we can, perhaps overcome some problems that are coming. All right. So scientists are baffled. There's a dormant, tapped in. There's volcanoes that are awakening all over the world. A lot of this stuff is being kept quiet. There are some people out there reporting it. I pay attention. It would behoove you if you did as well. So here's one.
We have all these monstrosities of dormant volcanoes waking up all over the world. And they're waking up after hundreds of thousands of years, guys. What is going on? I have one for you that is waking up after 710,000 years. And we're talking, as usual, volcanoes are present a lot at subduction zones. And we're talking about the Macron subduction arc today, where there's this dormant volcano. So on these subduction zones, and especially on that one here, dormant volcanoes can awaken without a warning and reveal unmonitored hazards. Hazard doesn't sound good. No warning doesn't sound good. And unmonitored sounds even worse. So which volcano am I talking about? I am talking about the Taftan volcano that's reawakening after 710,000 years of sleep, and it's revealing hidden hazards. It's a quiet, triggerless swelling at the Taftan volcano that is located in southeastern Iran. That is close to the border with Pakistan. So due to this long stint of inactivity, it was really thought to be extinct, crossed off the list. No biggie, don't worry about it, don't surveil it. But already last year, there were some signs that something is stirring at that volcano. We have seen increased levels from the volcano's vents, the fumaroles. And these fumaroles seem to be sprouting more sulfuric gases than usual. And smoke and ash.
All right. I know. Some of you are like, that's so far away. I don't care. And look, there's no one around that area. But, there are other volcanoes, especially along the sleeping, as they call it, volcanoes along the Pacific coast of Oregon, Washington, and California. So there was not too long ago when we had the massive earthquake on that Russian peninsula. It basically rung a bell. And that's kind of how they described it. Of all those volcanoes, they all were like a bell had been rung. They all lit up. They all it's like they're all communicating, and it's like, get ready, get ready. It's about go time. All right. So this is coming. Here's a little bit of information on that.
Is about the Cascade Range that surprised many geologists, but the story looked nothing like the dramatic imagery often associated with imminent eruptions. A team led by Cornell University used a network of seismometers to image 6 Cascade volcanoes, including Lassen Peak, and found that persistent magma bodies remain beneath them even when the volcanoes are dormant. Rather than using satellites to watch for a sudden bulge, the scientists relied on scattered seismic waves from distant earthquakes, which allowed them to map subsurface structures. What those images showed was not an expanding dome, but a stable, long-lived melt zone. When news outlets referenced interferometric synthetic aperture radar (NSAR), it was to note that earlier radar surveys from 1996-2010 detected subsidence. The ground around Lassen was slowly sinking at roughly 10 millimeters per year. That subtle downward motion, confirmed by ground-based GPS measurements, has continued for decades and is thought to be tied to tectonic processes rather than magma pushing upward. There was no confirmation from European Space Agency satellites or sudden acceleration. Scientists back then had no satellites, no sensors, no warnings. People simply woke up one morning and watched the mountain explode. For generations, geologists treated Lassen as history. They said it was cooling, dormant, quiet. But 2025 research has refined that belief. A seismic study by Cornell University and the U.S. Geological Survey showed that persistent magma bodies lie beneath several Cascade volcanoes. Lately, that quiet voice at Lassen has become much louder. Gas sensors placed around the volcano have detected a sharp rise in sulfur dioxide, carbon dioxide, and hydrogen sulfide levels. All
right, so I walked around Lassen, the volcanic magma that it came out of that. That they're like made trails around that. I walked on a Pacific Crest Trail. Unbelievable, right? Unbelievable. And, when that thing erupts again, which is coming, it's going to be quite significant. Now, it didn't show all of the, because there was another video that I saw, but there was another video where they literally had the seismographs, basically each one of the volcanoes all the way up and down the Pacific coast, all of them wrong, right? All of them were like get the phone call. Yep, it's about time to go. All right, wakey, get ready. All right, so it's coming. All right, so a lot of the volcanoes around the world are getting ready to blow. And I think the one that we're going to see first, and I've said this a couple times, is the one that's in Italy. All right, so when that one goes, it's going to be pretty horrific over there. It's going to take out millions of people. And it'll affect the world's climate, and that's why one of the reasons why I think we're going to have a really cold winter. I think we're going to have a significant volcanic activity. When we have significant volcanic activity, we have a massive cooling because of all of that ash that goes into the air. Right. So coming attractions, volcanic activity, earthquake activity, and so forth. So let's look at the earthquake activity over the last from USGS. Now, USGS, I believe, basically down, pushes the earthquake numbers down for whatever reason. They've been doing that for quite some time. A lot of people have been pointing that out, Dutch Sense and some other people. But it's not good when you're trying to track this stuff. When you're trying to figure out, where the next big one might be. If they're downsizing these earthquakes, then, look, Hawaii had looks like that must have had some new ones. 4.2, wow. So the last time I looked at this, there was none in Hawaii. So it's kicking off, or was that old? Might be old. Yeah, 1019. So I went back 30 days. So anyway, there are a lot of earthquakes that are happening over the last. This is 2.5 and above. Of course, if you go even lower, you wouldn't be able to see anything because there's so many earthquakes that are going off. Here in the United States, you guys can see earthquake activity starting to pick up quite significantly. Same thing up in Alaska. And, of course, over here in Russia, this thing just keeps going, just keeps activating. So let's go in here and let's try and see how these these earthquakes are going off. Of course, there's been volcanoes that have been dormant in this area for hundreds of thousands of years that are going off again. So this is earthquakes will activate volcanic activity. So as you saw from that video I showed you, they're just now realizing a lot of this magma is actually below the surface and hanging out. They thought it was just all empty, gone, but now a new capabilities that they have, they're actually seeing this magma under there. So yeah, there's lots of earthquake activity still happening. Another place is the Philippines. The Philippines is starting to get a lot of activity, as you guys can see right here. It's really starting to heat up. Very possibly a major, as you see here, could be a major earthquake in this area. 6.1, 6.0. I think there's a 7, 7.2 in there somewhere, but it's definitely increasing quite a bit in a lot of these areas. All right. So as this increases, now here's another thing I want to point out. All right, you see down in here the Drake Passage. There's been earthquakes down here. So this is the antipode, or the exact opposite of these earthquakes over here on the Kamchatka Peninsula, right? So lots of earthquakes over here, and now we're starting to see on the antipode the exact opposite. If we're looking at a globe, right? So I know there's a lot of people out there who've been talking about flat Earth. I don't know. Like I said, some of these people have really good arguments about that, but let me show you something as far as like a globe and where those two spots were. Let me pull this globe up. So on this globe, which is of course round, there, as you guys can see, there is the, pull this down. So you see the axis here. Let me see if I can get this situated. There we go. All right. So right here is the Drake Passage that I just showed you. Tip of South America and the tip of Antarctica. So let me go back to that other spot that I was showing you so you guys can see. Okay, so again, down here, you can, oh, on the wrong chart. So let me zoom it in. Zoomy. All right, so if we zoom it in, again, here's Kamchatka. Now I want you to see where the axis is right up here. All right, if we go down to the Drake Passage, the axis is back over here, an around globe, right? So you're going to see where these two little spots come together like that. You're going to see that on the globe, right? So I'm going to show you guys the roundness, the roundness of Earth. So again, you know, everybody's got their arguments of flat Earth, and then those of us that say there's round. But when you see the earthquakes happening in one spot, and then on the antipode, the exact opposite side, where you're having earthquake swarm like you're having on the other side, you got to go, okay, that's not flatness, all right? So it doesn't make sense that it would be flatness, unless maybe the flat guys can come out and, justify that. I'm going to go with, yeah, we're looking at a globe here. So let me bring this back up and bring up the sharing the screen. All right, so again, there's that spot, Drake Passage right there where my cursor is. See the axis. So now we're going to go around, going around the world. All right, let's go back to where the other axis is. All right, so here's the other side of the world where their axis is. And remember where that one area is? Right there. Hope it's not confusing, but all right, so right in here where that little thing that goes down, that's where the other area is. Right in here, the Kamchatka, right? So same distance, and that's where we had our little boom on the other side. right? So anyway, go play with it yourself if you want to, and then you can figure it out. Or if you have a globe, you can get your globe and rotate it and see those two sides. Or you can go to the library if they still have them there. I don't know. I used to go to the library and swirl those around when I was a kid. That was fun, right? I used to have my own, but that was so long ago. Who has globes? Right? No one has globes anymore. Maybe there are a few of you out there. Just because of that, I've thought about doing that. All right, so getting another one. Now, yesterday I talked about Winsome Earl. Winsome Earl, what's her last name? God, I can't think of her last name now. So anyway, some of you guys said you're saying Winston, and I was like, was I saying Winston? I'm looking at it. I'm, Winsome Earl. So I'm like, what the heck was I thinking about? The only thing I can think of is that, in my mind, because the way the mind works, my parents used to smoke packs of Winston cigarettes every day. So it's probably, clouded my mind with all that smoke I used to have to breathe as a little kid. That's why I don't smoke. So maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm looking at the word and my brain's like thinking it's saying winsome, but it's saying Winston, which I went back and I was saying Winston. I'm like, I'm sorry about that. So you guys in Virginia, I hope you get Winsome. I hope she wins a lot going forward as your governor. And, a lot of people came in the chat and said they're going to go back and support, and they're already voted for her. So hoorah, good for you guys. And same thing with in New Jersey, Republican race. I say Republican race, but today I saw that the Republican that's running for governor, Chittarelli, something like that. He is he's doing really well. And early voting and early polling and so forth sees him ahead. So good luck out there, New Jerseyans. You deserve a good person, regardless. And I think the Republican is going to be the best person for you. I think he probably won the last election where they had that I want to call these people in the Democrat Party vampires and just like, demons and so forth, demon rats. So I think they really are. So the guy that was in New Jersey that won by like just a few points or whatever against Chittarelli in the last race 4 years ago, I was like, that guy, no way that guy won, because he was horrific to people in New Jersey for the COVID nonsense. So I think, we've cleaned up a lot of this stuff, and I think we're going to do really well going forward. And maybe the good ETs out there will go, they're doing pretty good. Let's help them out. All right. Let's make these earthquakes not so bad. All right. We got the technology. And so I don't know, maybe who is Winsome? Winsome is the she keeps texting you for money. Same with me, Wolf Mother. You give to like one of these candidates, and it's like they put you on a mailing list, and then you're gonna like have to delete all of them. I mean, I hope she wins. I've even thought about going to her website, not through the phone, and contributing. But I'm just so friggin' pissed off that it's like every day. In the last election, I gave a lot to Trump, and now it's like they sold my information. And I guess all of them are pumping me for money now. It's like, God, every friggin' day. I'm like, stop. You put on your phone, you put stop. They're not supposed to text you anymore from that number. And then I go delete, and then I hit like spam, like junk mail, and then boom, it's out. And I do that like 5 to 15 times a day for the last year now. It's like, God, I've got to change my phone number and like never give to a candidate ever again through the phone. Right. So yeah, that's Winsome. Winsome. Let's pray that she's the next governor of Virginia. You win some, you lose some, right? But I think she's going to win a lot, and we want to call her Win a Lot and not Win Some. So, all right. And she's from Jamaica. You know, prayers for Jamaica, guys. Jamaica could be getting hit pretty hard with hurricane, and they're going to need some prayers. And she was also a Marine, and I have high regards for Marines. So many good reasons to vote for Winsome, not Winston cigarettes. Winston's taste good like a cigarette should. No flavor, no flavor, no. So, you know, it was a bunch of us used to go, no flavor, no smell. So we'd like change it up as kids. So you know how that mind works. You put a little song in there. They know they've been MK Ultra nuts for years. So that little jingle, see, I can like bring that up, and I can't remember a lot of stuff, but I can still remember that. What the hell? You know, never give any money. It's all over. Never give any money. All right. So I got to go. It's 5:55. I think I got dinner with some people. So lots of love to you guys. Stay in the love vibration. Join us in the LifeWave. We got a great group. We want to get that incredible patch to as many people as possible because it has unbelievable good things. It's going to light your body up with the love light, and it's going to optimize you. All right. So let's pray for, you know, not so many hurricanes. We haven't had any, not so many earthquakes, not so many volcanoes. And who knows, maybe we'll get some help from the angels, the ETs, or whatever. Anybody out there, right? Anybody out there think that, you know, that we're worthy? We're doing the best we can down here, but we know we have a lot of baddies. Could you help us out with the baddies too? All right, please. Okay, guys, lots of love. Stay in love vibration. I'll see you guys next time.